Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley just took place in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 11, Covington versus Woodley, and it's just wrapped up, and what an amazing performance and dominant performance from Colby Chaos Covington, getting the job done in the 5th round via TKO. Tyron Woodley tapped to his rib. I'm not too sure about that. We're going to talk about that in this video, but either way, it was a technical TKO finish for Colby Covington in the 5th round, and he just broke Woodley more and more as the fight went on. The 4th round was really dominant. An amazing performance for Colby Covington. Just completely destroyed Tyron Woodley start to finish. I think he won every single round. Maybe there's an argument that Woodley could potentially win round 2 because he got a takedown, but other than that, I don't even know if he won round 2. Covington outlanded him by 7, 20-13, and landed good shots as well with knees in the clinch. I thought Colby Covington won every single round of the fight. This 4th round was just absolutely dominant. Destroyed him. The total strikes in round 4, I believe, were 113-2. You know how crazy that is? Top contenders we're talking about. We're not talking about some guy who's taken on a guy who's just joined the UFC and they're way unranked. Like this is top contenders. Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley, 113 total strikes to 2 in round 4. That's crazy. That is genuinely crazy. Colby Covington just completely dominated Tyron Woodley start to finish. I'm kind of in disbelief. I said Colby Covington was going to win this fight by TKO in the later rounds. I'll take it, by the way. I guess I'm a genius here by proxy, but still. I almost expected a little bit of resistance. I thought maybe Woodley would catch him flush and drop him at one point in the fight. I thought maybe Woodley would go out there and be winning the fight the whole time on the feet, and Colby would be shooting for reckless takedowns. But literally, Colby Covington went out there and broke Woodley on the feet, in the grappling, and I think it's fair to say at this point, boys, Bellator lives matter, and Tyron Woodley should maybe go there. Unless Tyron Woodley wants to look for the Robbie Lawler rematch, which just kind of shows what level of a career he's at right now after a loss to Colby Covington. But it's a tough one to bounce back from, dude. Like, I think it's maybe time for Tyron Woodley to go, and I'll tell you this again. After the stunt that Tyron pulled at the press conference, not wanting to go in the same room as Colby and answering every question with that shit, like, it's just fair play if he wants to do that statement, but I'll tell you this, you're going to lose a lot of fans afterwards if things don't go your way. Don't get me wrong, if Tyron Woodley went out there and caught Colby on the chin, he's a hero to his side of the argument. But if he loses, it's going to be tough to rebuild those bridges that you've now burned. I will say that, okay? And it's going to be a real tough one. And it's hard not to feel some kind of glee and happiness watching Woodley get completely destroyed, but Colby Covington went out there 13-5 on strikes in the 1st round. Won that round very clearly, won the clinch situations as well. Round 2, 20-13, won the clinch situations, won the round there with clean shots on the feet as well. Round 3, dominated there, 23-12 on strikes, nearly doubled him on significant strikes. Dominated the entire round. I mean, it was just non-stop pressure and volume, constantly going for the clinch, constantly out-strengthening Woodley in the clinch, which was crazy to me, just completely manhandling him. I expected it, don't get me wrong, but I will say this. Tyron Woodley had great takedown defense this fight. Really, really good takedown defense. He didn't get lazy like he did against Usman. He really put up a good fight. He fought for underhooks like his life depended on it. He defended well in the takedown exchanges. He always hooked a leg of Covington, tried to get his leg on the inside of Covington's to try and create some kind of gap. He was landing some good knees on the return. It was just Colby Covington. It's not about how many you can defend. It's how long you can defend for. It's not about if you can defend the first 5. Like, that doesn't matter to me. Oh, you can defend a takedown from Colby Covington? Good. Now defend the 11th. Defend the 13th. Defend the 15th. Defend the 30th. And then it's over from there. And Colby Covington, you could see it in the 4th round. He nodded to his coach. His coach said, you go out there and you do the thing today. I don't actually know what his coach said, but it looked like, I'm going to translate here just via body language. It looked like this is where you switch things on. And Colby looked over at his coach and said, yeah, this is where I switch it on. Went out there in the 4th round, put him straight against the cage, picked up Woodley and dunked him, and then just dominated the 4th round. And I'll tell you this, there's a lot of things to cover in this fight. I thought Woodley had a good performance for the first 3 rounds, but there's just something about Woodley, man. At the start of the 1st round, he came out and I was worried because it looked like Woodley was going to go forward, throw some shots, and actually go for things. But it was very clear, as soon as he wasn't immediately winning, that he just wanted to be out of there, man. He backed up the whole time. Colby was just able to unload combinations against him. Great body kicks from Colby Covington. Landed all night. He constantly upset the rhythm of Tyron Woodley as he was trying to lull Colby Covington into the big punch. Colby Covington just dominated him. And it looked like Woodley just wanted to not get finished and not get embarrassed. It's a different Woodley. It's not a guy who's going out there to get I'm going to win no matter what, and if it goes into deep waters, I'm going to swim and I'm going to drown him in deep waters. It was a Tyron Woodley who was thinking, in my opinion, I'm going to go out there in the first round, try and KO him, and if I don't, I'm going to try and not get finished. That's kind of what's been happening in Woodley's fights recently, and it's a shame to see the career change, but I'll say this again, said it in my prediction video, Woodley's body looks different. Go and look at Woodley in Strikeforce. I'm not saying USADA, I'm saying age. He's 38 now, I believe. His body looks different, he looks way more flat, he's not in the same shape anymore, and he just got dominated by Colby Covington start to finish, and it's not a bad guy to get dominated against. That tends to happen to guys who fight Colby Covington. But this is 3 in a row. Although they're against top contenders, this is what you get now. You lose to Burns, dominant all 5 rounds. You lose to Covington, dominant all 5 rounds. That's 15 rounds in a... It's 15 rounds in a row. I do want to talk about some things that happened in the fight, though, and I do want to mention this because I'm not just going to be completely bigging up Colby. Colby landed a groin shot in the second round. And it was a groin shot. Just want to point these things out just so we get them out there before anyone leaves a comment. Dude, what about this? It was a groin shot. It didn't look like it hurt Woodley whatsoever. I think it just sort of bounced off the cut, but there was a groin shot. I'll just mention that just to get it out there, you know, just to get it off the tick list of things people can mention in the comments that I forgot. Also, eye poke. I'll do this and I'll turn it into this. They were front knuckles. That was not an eye poke. That was nothing but front knuckles. Colby Covington threw with an open hand. Before it finished, he closed it into a jab. Those were front knuckles in the eyes. And Woodley looked like he wanted out of there, man. Is no one seeing what I think everyone's seeing what I'm seeing here. He doesn't want it anymore. He wants a quick win or he doesn't want it at all. That's genuinely the situation. Because the doctor asked him a question. And Woodley said, a bit. The only thing I can think of a response like that, of a bit, I think, can you see? A bit. That really hurts me to see from Woodley, once dominant champion. Like, that's a guy who doesn't want it, man. If a doctor asks you, can you see? 100% get me back in the fight right now. I'm going to whoop this guy's ass. Someone asked Woodley the question. Can you see? A bit. Give me a minute. Give me that towel. Can you bring the doctor in? They let him back in because his eye was fine. But Jesus, it was not good to watch. Colby Covington just dominated him. Round 4 was dominant. And I'll tell you this, I said this after the stream was over. I did a full fight companion stream, by the way. If you want to go and watch my live reaction to the fight that just happened, go check it out. Yeah, I said this in the 4th round. If Woodley did not get that 3 minutes of break in the 3rd, I reckon he would have finished him in the 4th. There's no way he wouldn't have. He was busting him open. He was cutting him open with elbows, beating him up on the 4th round. 113-2, man. 113-2, and I'll tell you this, let's talk about the ending sequence as well, because that's a big thing. We'll talk about the ending sequence, then we'll talk about what's next. That guillotine, I don't think he broke his rib. I want to see an x-ray. I don't think he broke his rib. I understand that those things do happen in MMA, and Pettis, we never saw an x-ray there, but Pettis, it happened in Pettis versus Poirier. I think Poirier had a body triangle, and Pettis ended up breaking a rib. Woodley had a guillotine. Colby passes into half guard. The second that Woodley loses his grip with his hands on the guillotine, his rib breaks and he taps. In the 5th round, in a fight where he's dominating, and if Colby gets out of that guillotine, he's on top with a whole round to go to try and finish Tyron Woodley, who's melting at that point. That guillotine was a last-ditch effort. And as soon as his hands broke grip, the arm was still over the head. The guillotine still looked like it was in, but as soon as the hands broke grip with each other and that guillotine was no longer tight, he tapped to his rib. I would love to wait for an x-ray. It was a weird timing to break your rib. Like, I can understand if a guy's got you hunched up and you're kind of folded over in an awkward position, but you were in half guard with him and you were trying to pull a guillotine. The second the guillotine... I can imagine if you pulled on the guillotine too hard, you might hurt your rib. But the second you let go of the guillotine... tap rib. I don't know if I believe that. We'll see if the x-rays come out. But still, great performance from Colby Covington. Dominated start to finish. And another great performance that happened was Colby Covington in the post-fight promo. What a promo. He's getting better. I said this in the press conference before the fight started. Colby Covington is getting better at trash talking. Everyone loves him now. Everyone loves him. Everyone used to hate him, a little bit cringy. I think this is the difference that happened. Colby Covington used to have pre-made lines and then just say them, regardless whatever the question was. The question could have been, hey Colby, are you feeling good this fight camp? I'm green. You couldn't draw money if you had a green crayon and some paper. That used to be Colby Covington's lines. Just come back with whatever. It was a good line, don't get me wrong, but it just used to be, regardless of the question, the line would be said. He didn't care what the question was, and it came off a little bit not smooth and fluid. But now he's reacting to questions and having comebacks based on questions. It's coming off as authentic and smooth and quick on the go, and it's just getting better and better. He's got good lines. In the post-fight, he called out Kobe Bryant. He said there's going to be a landslide. Watch what happens when... I'm not going to say his name because I'll get fucking demonetized knowing the fucking world that we live in right now, but the Big Don and Kid Sniffer, we'll try and mess up the algorithm with a bit of code, but the Big Don and the Kid Sniffer, he said that was going to be a landslide, so he included a bit of politics in there as well. He called out Kobe Bryant for being a woke athlete. That was a good call out. Then he called out Usman and Masvidal and called them out in the cage after the fight was over as well. He just went out there and dominated, man. I'm so happy. This is such a better outcome. What would Woodley have done if he got a KO? He would have said the same 3 words to every single question asked afterwards. And if someone asked him what was be next, he would say, I don't have any decision over that. The UFC will give me whoever. And we probably would have seen Woodley versus Nick Diaz. I'm so glad this is the outcome. And I'll tell you this right now. Made a video about it not too long ago. I don't give a fuck about Masvidal versus Diaz 2. I don't give one single fuck about it. That doesn't interest me at all. Cancel Nate Diaz versus Masvidal 2 and put Colby in there instead in January. Usman fights in December. Winner of Usman Burns takes on the winner of Masvidal versus Colby. Why would Masvidal not want that? You want a title shot, Masvidal. You want your rematch with Usman. Fight Colby. If you win that, you've got it. I know why you wouldn't want it. Because you'd get dominated, because that's what Colby fucking does. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Colby Train's coming through. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Woodley just didn't get off the tracks, but, you know, Bellator lives matter, so we'll be seeing him there. Or, for Woodley, I don't mean to shit on him too much, it was just, he kind of asked for it with the way he was handling himself before the fight started, I'll be honest with you guys. He kind of asked for a little bit of shit talking, but I'm going to be real, he's got kids, you know, it's a tough situation, but I will say this. I would watch a Woodley versus Lawler rematch to see if anyone's still got it in the tank. I genuinely would. Woodley versus Lawler 2. It was signed before, not too long ago. I believe it was ages ago. UFC San Antonio, maybe, if I'm mistaken. Maybe, I think Edwards versus RDA got put in as a short notice replacement there. But I think it was Woodley versus Lawler 2 originally. Remake it. Woodley versus Lawler 2. I'm down. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Colby Chaos Covington. Fucking good shit, man. Dominant. All the way through. Great promo afterwards as well. I'm so glad. Like and subscribe. Click that button there. Goodbye.